be included in the business plan and what does not have to be included in a business plan. So there are, I actually have 3 slides on this just to kind of give you an idea of what should be in the business plan, more or less. But you are more than welcome to add anything else that you feel you want to add, or remove something that you feel is unnecessary. So what needs to be added, I'm quickly going to go over this and then we'll go into detail on each of them. The executive summary, the general description of the venture, products and services plan, the marketing plan, management plan, operating plan, financial plan, as well as the supporting materials. So guys, we are going to look at a bit more detail at some of them. So one is the executive summary. This is a 1 or 3 page overview of the business plan. Okay, so it's just like a summary that kind of just brings the business plan together, and that really just summarizes everything that you have been trying to say. So you will normally write your summary at the end, because like I said, you are literally tying up all your strings. And you can't really write a summary in the beginning if you don't even know what all the strings are. So only at the end, once you have all your strings, can you tie them up together and write your summary. The next one is a general company description. So this is just basically the explains the type of company, gives a history if the company already exists. So for instance, let's say we have an online company, we've been selling products online, and we would very much like to now open a shop where we can also sell the products to other customers. So this is obviously a company that already exists. So we can give a little bit of background and history on the company. And the next one is the products and service plan. So the products and service plan really describes the product and the service and points out any unique features that there might be about this product. So what makes this product different than any other product? If we use the dry bath example again, essentially he created a gel that you can bath with that you don't need any water. So you just rub the gel on your arms, and you can literally just rub it off with a piece of tissue or a towel, for instance. So if he said it's something that you bath with, but that's body wash and soap. So what makes your product different than body wash and soap? So he really had to go and explain the product, explain why this product is different. What is the unique features of this specific product? Then you have your marketing plan. So this shows who the business customers will be, who's the type of competition that we are either envisioning or that we might already have. Then the management plan. So this identifies the key players. So the key players are like your investors, the management team, and any directors that the company might already have. If the company doesn't have any directors, then obviously it will just be you, the entrepreneur. The next one is the operating plan. So this explains the type of manufacturing or the operating system that the company is going to use. How are you going to manufacture dry bath? Okay, how are you going to create the gel that is being used in dry bath? So you literally just have to explain the process. You don't have to give the recipe, guys. It's not a recipe, okay? It's literally just explaining the process. And the last one is your financial plan. So this is where you basically just explain the different sources of financing that you have. Okay, so did you get 20% of your money from investors, 30% from a bank loan? Where is the money coming from? So guys, the next slide just gives a little bit more detail on what is exactly included or needed in a business plan. I'm not going to go over it again. You are more than welcome to go through this, and I expect you guys to know this for a test or an exam. If I ask you to create a business plan for a company, then you must be able to use all of these different aspects to create a business plan. So guys, the next thing we're going to look at is the description of the new venture. So the new venture obviously is the new company. And this is part of the feasibility analysis that we did in chapter 2, which is on page 65. So you're more than welcome to go back to the feasibility analysis in chapter 2. Remember, the feasibility analysis is essentially just that we have to go and determine how feasible is this idea or product that we want to launch in the market. Okay, so this ties in really well with a feasibility analysis. So guys, some of the questions that you might have is, or that you need to answer is this a startup, a buyout, or an expansion? Has the business begun operations, or are they still in the planning phase? They are still waiting to launch their products or their service. What is their mission statement? Where did the business start? What is the nature and activity of the business? The primary product? Who's their customers? Are they manufacturing, retailing, service, or another type of industry? What are they, for instance, the stage of development, the objectives, the history of the company, if you have a history, the achievements, so any achievements that they maybe have, the changes that's been made to the structure of the business. So let's say that you bought the business from someone else. How did the structure of the business change? Okay. And then what is the distinctive competence? So guys, distinctive competence, and I want you guys to make a note here for me. This is the competitive advantage that a company possesses. Okay. So a competitive advantage is obviously something that makes you different to the rest of your competitors. And it doesn't always have to be the product that is different. It can be a similar product, but the way that you market the product or the way that you deliver a good customer service, that can be a competitive advantage. So it is not just about the product itself that has to be unique. The service that you deliver can also be a unique service. Okay. So guys, the next thing we then need to do, obviously, after we have created our business plan, is we need to analyze the market. So analyzing the market essentially looks at the following things. We look at the concept, the identification of the target market, the research and the forecasting, and then the last one is the marketing plan or the strategy. So guys, when we look at concepts, the concept is the business plan or the business idea. Please make a note there, make right next to it business plan or the business idea. Who is our target market? If Checkers, every time Checkers launches their stickies or their the seeds that you have to grow, who's their target market? Adults or kids? Parents of kids. Okay. Their main target market is actually the kids. The kids get their parents to shop at Checkers so that they can get their stickies, or I know at this game you can get Frozen cards now. So the Frozen movie, you can now get like little cards that you have to collect. Then research and forecasting. If we were to open our business now, how successful will we be? Just coming out of COVID. Do we maybe need to wait another 6 months or so? Or we know, so we need to go and do our research before we even open our business. And then guys, obviously we need to have a marketing plan. Remember in chapter 1, I showed you guys the LSM. So we have LSM 1 to 10. So 1 is people that have the least available or have the least number of resources or the availability of resources. And then LSM 10 is those that have the the most amount of resources or the availability of resources. So a market segment is also, for instance, who's our target market? Is it gender specific? Is it, for instance, culture specific, age specific? So Checkers is not going to market stickies to you guys, for instance. Okay. I don't think you guys, I might be wrong, but I don't think any of you guys will really want to, you're not really going to go to Checkers to buy stickies. You're not really going to, you might go to Checkers to buy the mini Checkers shopping mall. That was quite cute, the little till and the little sunlight and the little tomato, the little tomato sauce. But the stickies are particularly marketing to kids. Okay, some of those adverts actually said, hey kids, bring your parents to Checkers, or tell your parents about this, tell your parents about that. Their target market is the kids. So guys, the next thing we're going to look at is determining the financial needs of the business. Okay, so guys, determining the financial needs of the business. We need to compile a financial statement. So a financial statement, and I know you guys are studying BCC, so it's not really something that you guys might be interested in, but a financial statement basically consists of a balance, an income, and a cash flow statement. So it is essential that the entrepreneur understands financial statements and how to interpret them. He obviously needs to make sure determine if he's making a loss or a profit. Is he actually growing his business or definitely not growing the business? He needs to understand how profitability is assessed, and he must be able to determine the venture's financial requirements. So he might end up asking for R1 million, but he actually only needed 500,000. Or the flip side is he needed 3 million rand, and I actually asked for 1 million. Now he has to go back to the bank and say to them, hi, sorry, yes, oopsie, made a mistake. Can I please have 2 million rand more? The bank is most likely not going to offer him another or to give him another 2 million rand. So you must be able to understand the financial requirements that the venture has. So guys, the next thing we're going to look at is the location factors, the location of the business. So where do we want to open the business? So guys, obviously we have a choice of locations. You can literally choose to open a business anywhere in South Africa, anywhere in Africa, anywhere in the world. You can choose to open your company. So things that you need to consider is raw material. How close are you to raw materials? It doesn't really help that you open a business in Pretoria, but your raw materials need to come all the way from Cape Town. Okay. Is there maybe another supplier that we can use to access our raw materials, or should we maybe look at opening the shop in Cape Town? Then the availability and the cost of power and water, especially if you're going to have a company that uses a lot of electricity and that uses a lot of water. The availability and the cost of the site, the store, the building that you're going to hire. How much is that going to cost every month? The availability of capital, so how much money do you really have to invest in this business? Then you also need to look at the existing business environment. So how many competitors, guys? So make a note there. How many competitors do you have that is already doing something similar to what you are doing? Then the next one is the social environment. So guys, the social environment looks at anything from education to medical, recreational, shopping facilities, for instance. If you are going to open a shop literally in the middle of nowhere, who's going to visit your shop? Who's going to be your customers? So you need to look at how close are you to schools, how close are you to hospitals, for instance. And guys, I remember when Menlo Main, when they were busy building Menlo Main. So Menlo Main is actually built just below the Glen High School. So when they were building Menlo Main, there was a huge petition that actually, sorry, not really Menlo Main, but the Sun International, so across from Menlo Main. There was a huge petition about school kids who will now be able to come and gamble at the casino in the afternoons. They're able to buy alcohol, for instance, and this was a huge issue because the Sun International almost wasn't built because of this petition that the schools, parents, and a lot of the officers around actually signed. So that is quite a big thing. When they said, let's build the Sun International, there will be a casino, they didn't actually think that people will actually create a petition and that casino was almost didn't exist, okay, just because of a petition. So that's also something you need to look at. The climate. So is it a humid? Is it hot? Is it cold? Are we trying to sell ice in the middle of the Karoo? So what does the climate look like? If I'm going to sell ice cream in Iceland, I don't think a lot of people is going to buy my ice cream. They might rather buy hot chocolate and coffee and warm beverages. They maybe not necessarily want any ice cream. Similar, if I were to sell hot chocolate and coffee in the middle of the Karoo, people would rather want cool drink or ice cream or something cold, for instance. Then government policy. So for instance, one of the new acts that we have is the POPI Act. The POPI Act says that we are not allowed to share information. So you guys know all those calls that you're always getting, those dodgy calls of Discovery or Momentum, or like the one closer to me yesterday, funeral services also phoning to sell you like a funeral plan. If I can actually ask you guys, I can challenge you almost. If you were to ask them, where did you get my number? They will basically just say to you, I'm just calling from a database. But where did you get my number? And that's because companies are no longer allowed to sell information to third parties. And guys, the last one is personal preferences. So guys, obviously, when you want to open a store, there will always be personal preferences. It doesn't help that you stay in Pretoria, but you open a store in Joburg. You're going to have to travel to Joburg every single day. I spoke to someone over the weekend that she works in Sandton. She stays here in Hatfield, in Menlo Park. And she says it sometimes takes up to an hour for her to get to Sandton. If there's only one accident, it's an hour to an hour and a half for her to actually get to Sandton. So do you really want to open a shop in Joburg and then be stuck in traffic? It might just be better to open a shop closer to your house. That is just going to be a lot more convenient. Okay. So guys, what I want you to do for me, when we are done, I want you guys to create a business plan for your chosen business. So remember, I did ask you guys to choose a business. You're welcome to choose any business. I'm not particular about the type of business that you've chosen. And I want you guys to create just a rough business plan for your business that we are going to look at when I see you guys again. Then I also want you guys to identify a small business, analyze their location, and then why did they choose that specific location. Let me just quickly fix this mistake of mine. Okay, so why do you think they chose that specific location? So just take a small business. Okay, any small business, you guys are maybe welcome to go to them and say to them, hi, I just quickly want to check, why did you guys open the shop here? And then yes, Tanihala. So what I want you guys to do for me is I want you to compile this. we're going to do this in the next class. When I see you guys, I want your answers. So for LAC tomorrow, you guys have another activity that you have to do. So I'm really, yeah, there's a lot of activities that you have to do. So this activity on the slides is for the next time that I see you guys. I want a rough business plan for your chosen business. And then for the LAC session tomorrow, you guys will have another activity to do. Okay. So guys, remember with LAC sessions, you don't have to hand those in. Those are just activities that I want you guys to do. It's just for your own benefit to see if you are understanding the work or not. More importantly, have you guys done your iStask yet? The iStask is due on the 15th of April. Okay. Guys, it's a multiple choice test. You're allowed to do it twice. So please let me know if you guys have done ICE yet. If you haven't, I will post announcements on as reminders that you need to do your ICE task. This is the ICE task that was set by me. And I did put up an announcement last week about the ICE task. Okay. Okay, 100% guys, so that's it. Is there anything else that you guys want me to maybe explain to you again that you guys don't understand? Please let me know. Otherwise, I'm quickly gonna just stop sharing this one, and I just want to open your PAS just so that we can have a discussion around the PAS so that you guys can see there's really nothing to stress about. I don't want you guys to be worried at all. Let me just quickly open your PAS. Okay, so guys, let me just quickly share my screen with you. So I can just quickly show you guys the PAS. Okay, let me just make it a little bit bigger so that you guys can see. Okay, business management. Oops. Okay, guys, so the take-home test, so the test is a chapter 1 to chapter 4. We have just finished chapter 3 today. Okay, so the take-home test is chapter 1 to 4, and this is due at the end of May. Then you have your assignment. So assignment is chapter 1 to 6, and this is due by the 7th of June. So guys, the biggest issue that you might have here is that obviously time doesn't stand still. So once we are done with chapter 4, I'm not going to stop and then there's not going to be any more classes. Okay, so we are going to continue with the work because we still need to finish all the work by the end of the semester. So what will happen is closer to the take-home test date, I think we need to do like a test prep where I can give you guys some examples and past question papers. I've already done one for one of the other classes on chapter 1 to 3. So we can just obviously I'll add chapter 4 to that, and then we can go through some past papers just so that you guys can see how you need to answer like, you know, question papers. Although take-home test will generally have will look very similar to an assignment, because obviously you have only 21 hours to do the take-home test, and then the assignment is due on the 7th of June. Okay, so Notandu, yes. Guys, the ICE task is based on chapter 1 and chapter 2. So I will create next week. Luckily, next week you guys are technically off because it is test week next week, but you guys are not writing any tests next week. So you guys are only writing tests in test week 2. So obviously going to be off next week. I'm still going to lecture. I still have classes that I need to lecture. So what I will do is once we are done with chapter 4, I will create another ICE task for you. So I think what I will do, guys, so let's agree on this. I will create an ICE task for you on chapter 3. This ICE task is not going to be a multiple choice. It is going to most likely be a blog or like a case study that you have to identify the business, similar to one of the past papers, and that you have to answer questions about the business. Okay, so you're actually going to have to type it. But I will load the ICE for you. I will put up an announcement again. I will give you guys a due date, so please don't worry about it. Also remember that there will be 6 ICE tasks in total on VC Learn and 2 ICE tasks in class. Okay. So guys, 4 of the ICE tasks, so obviously you only have to do 4, and out of that 4, if I can say it this way around, out of the 4, 2 of them will be marked. So those will most likely be my multiple choice questions that I've loaded, like for instance of chapter 1 and 2. And then the other 2 will just be participation. So the fact that you actually participated in class or participated in the debate or participated by submitting a blog, all of those, will then also count towards your ICE. Okay, so guys, do you have any other questions with regards to ICE or with regards to LAC session? So the slide that the chapter we just finished, those questions I want you guys to do for the next class when I see you guys again, which will obviously be not next week, the week after. And then for tomorrow, I will load the LAC sessions on for you. It will only open about half an hour before your LAC session starts. So sorry guys, I was just reconnecting, but I'm back. If I maybe missed any questions, just please let me know. If I maybe missed anything, I am back. I just had to reconnect quickly. If there's nothing else, and that concludes today's class. Please enjoy your week off. Please be safe, and then I will see you guys back again in the week thereafter. If you have any questions, you guys are more than welcome to always just email me. I was a bit busy yesterday, and I'm also a bit busy today, but tomorrow I have some time and I will check my emails. If you have emailed me and I haven't responded, I promise that I'll respond tomorrow. Okay. So guys, if there's any other questions that you guys, there's not anything else that you guys have, then that does conclude today's